Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Pigskin Project YouTube. I am Matt, joined today with Ben. We're finishing off the defense. I know, everybody. I know. Chill out. But uh, draft is 2 weeks away. So, kind of like I said last week, we got to cram. We got to cram these guys in. But, Ben,
Yeah.
how are we today?
Uh, I- I'm great. I mean, this week, are you kidding me? It's been a great week. It's been quite the college sports year for me, as you know. It's been fantastic. Anyways, no, I'm doing great. Excited to get into the back seven. Really get into it. It's gonna be interesting, and then as you said, next 2 weeks will be fun. Next 2 weeks gives us the freedom to kind of just do whatever we want leading up to the draft, and that's where it gets fun. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Can we play a game before we start?
Let's play a game.
Let's play the quickest game of Never Have I Ever. All right?
Oh
You
gosh.
ready?
Yep.
Never have I ever with a non-significant other opposite sex interlocked hands at a hotel resort while nobody else is around. And if Mike
Oh
Vrabel was
god.
here, he'd be sipping. That was crazy. That was crazy, dude.
That was crazy. That was great. I mean, like the reports are, this goes back to like the Titan days, right? Like this isn't
Yeah.
like something that's like necessarily new, but like obviously like the pictures are like jarring, and you're just like, oh, like, oh, that's why AJ Brown's a Patriot.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way that that was just like, that's Mike Vrabel. That's that. Like that is a private investigator's photos lens with what he got. And
Oh yeah.
but before we get into corners, I just like take it like I feel
Jeez.
bad for women in media because again, like
Yeah.
this just doesn't help their reputation even more in
No.
that
Yeah.
aspect. That it's like, well, I got to do this to get the scoops, but um, that was still crazy. But if I had
Yeah.
a if I had a nickel for in the last 4 years, a Boston head coach would have a seemingly inappropriate relationship. I'd have two nickels,
Not a
which is not a
lot, but
lot. It's weird it happened twice. All right, you guys are here for corners. All right, let's get
yeah.
into the corners. Ben, how many did you have?
In terms of corners, I have six corners. Two like fun shout outs as well. So how many do you
Start
have?
with your shout outs. I had
Okay.
eight outside corners I could talk about. I have multiple nickels who kind of fall into safety categories, who fall into corner categories. But you start with your shout outs and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. The first two shoutouts it's gonna be our Washington corners, Takario Davis and Ephesians Prysock. Again, just like really quickly, like regardless of his on the field tape, I mean, you hear the name Ephesians Prysock. I mean, that's a football name. Like, regardless of what the tape tells you, you know he's going to be a good football player just based off of the name. Both of these guys, and it's as you know, my little header down there says, uh, I obviously am gravitated to these guys because of how tall and lengthy they are. That has always been the archetype of corner that I have gravitated towards. I seem to like, and it has not changed. Takario Davis is definitely ranked higher than Ephesians for me,
Mm-hmm.
simply just because of the long speed. So Takario Davis is much faster. I think he ran like a 4.35 or something like that, something crazy. Um, that like Yaps up like should not have ran at that size, but he's a guy that is just gonna like make his money just pressing people at the line of scrimmage. He's huge, he presses you, and he has legit ball skills. But his off coverage stuff is just not very good at all. And don't ask this guy to like transition in and out of hard breaks, twitchy wide receivers are going to just take advantage from him. And then it's funny because while they might be the same size, we are kind of completely two different players with Avion's here. Like Avion's calling card is how good he is as a zone corner. And like he has true zone awareness that is like really, really good, especially when it comes to route recognition, the ability to have smooth hips and break on the ball. But he's really, really, really grabby. And in terms of press man, he relies on a good jam. If he can't get that, then it's all said and done. And for a guy as long and lengthy as you, I want you to be more aggressive at the catch point. But again, just two long, lengthy cornerbacks who get the job done in two drastically different ways. And you're kind of just banking on getting them in the room and getting your DB coach to teach them up and then really utilize the length on these guys.
Yeah, if you and Jed Fish were ever in a room, I think you guys would get along with the three players in this class. Just like the corner and receiver, and then you think about like his quarterback's 5'10". Isn't that funny? But
Yeah.
no, I agree with everything you said on those guys. I think they're the model, prototypical, single high outside corner archetype. You think about everybody falls into like kind of archetypes where it's like they're the Sherman archetype where you just play them on the outside and both of them could major in the cover 1 and cover 3 kind of schemes on the outside. I had two guys to get to my top 6. Dalen Everett and Igbinosun from Ohio State. Kind of similar guys to what you just mentioned, like outside rooted corners, both
Everett's
rangy
gonna get
and
someone in trouble.
yeah, both long. Starting with Everett, I think his range as a player and the size and force in the run game, he knows how to use his length to his advantage. Kind of forced to the sideline. He got much better with that at Georgia over the course of his final season specifically, and then his ceiling is kind of determined by his like reactionary awareness. I think being able to make plays on the ball and getting his head around. That's the biggest thing with Everett for me. And you see it at times in the SEC championship game, not against Bama, but against Texas. He did a few times against Matthew Golden, who's a first-round receiver, and I think had an interception in that game. So he has that going for him. So it really shows when if he can put it all together. And then Igbinosun, I mean, this is just a wild roller coaster of a player because I think a few years ago this was like there's just no chance, right? But like his presence when the ball is thrown downfield in his path is just too good to ignore, if that makes sense. The penalty red flag is going to come with him, but he's a good athlete. Like clearly there was a reason why Patricia would trust him on an island out there and most of their stuff came with like middle of the field zone pressures and things like that, and it left him on islands at times in that single high world. But he has all the athletic tools, the length. I think he's got a competitive spirit about him, and maybe that's my way of sugar coating. He holds a lot, but I think the long and lanky press man corners just similar to Tacario Davis, like that's where he gets his money.
Where I'd be interested to see where you fall on this side of things. I would much rather have my corner be too grabby and too physical and teach it out of them than vice versa and have to like teach a cornerback to be physical. I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's where
I absolutely agree.
Like,
and the thing about him is like I do think it is out like it's able to get coached out of him, and that's why he's up at 7 here because like I just think there's a lot of like the panic late in the route where it's like I want to be the one to make the first contact. I want to be the one kind of again stating my presence as the ball is thrown downfield. And in reality, you kind of just maybe the ball isn't on the right path, and the receiver can dictate that because he knows where the ball is going to go and things like that. Like that's some of the issues with pass interference to me, where it's like let these corners kind of go at these receivers at times, and the receivers are always going to have the upper hand even if the ball isn't thrown on a direct path. So I
Yeah.
I agree with you in that sense. But who did you have here at the bottom?
At the bottom, 6 for me was
But not the
Brandon Cisse.
bottom. There's second. Yeah,
The
there's second
bottom,
round
yeah.
corners.
And to be frank, like there's all three. Well, yeah, all three of the guys that I'm talking about are here at 6, 5, and 4. I could see getting taken off the board in any particular order. Like there's not like a hard stand where I'm like, no, this guy's clearly better than the rest. Number 4, I lean more so than the other two, but like so much of it is scheme dependent, right? But for me, again, number 6 is Brandon Cease. He's a great athlete, and that's why you're going to be drafting this guy, because he's a great athlete and has really really good lateral agility to allow him to get in and out of breaks really really smoothly, which makes him a very good man corner. And along with that is like this guy is gonna jam you into oblivion if you let him. He's not worried about it. So you can preach all of the praise and all of everything you want about his physical upside and how great of an athlete he is, that allows him to be a very good man corner. But his zone stuff is just really, really, really bad. Like he just his zone IQ is awful. He has no zone feel at all. He struggles like even knowing where his zone starts, where it ends. He can't really sift through the garbage on routes, especially when there are multiple guys within his zone. Like you can see the steam kind of coming out of his ears, trying to figure out like where he needs to go and who he needs to cover. He bites really, really hard, both on man and in zone stuff. And then he's like way more grabby than what he has to be. As I said, he's a great athlete that allows him to stay through the stem of basically any route you possibly could want, but still somehow, for some reason, he's grabbing people. So again, when you're drafting this guy, you're taking him because you can identify that he's a great athlete, which allows him to translate to be a really, really good man corner right away. And then you can hope that you can teach him better zone feel. And if all of this can tie together, you got yourself a really, really, really good corner. But right now, he is almost kind of singularly a man cover corner. He's going to be really good at it, but that's what he's going to be.
Yeah, except when it was like Concepcion. He had a rep against Concepcion where like he just can't play, and that's where the issues lie with me. I think you mentioned it perfect. Like I think his open field athlete, like he shows off the length and the quick trigger in the run game pretty often as a willing player, and so I think a lot of people are going to put that into like maybe he's a nickel, maybe he's this, but I have him as an outside corner just because I think using that length and being able to be an athlete on the outside is where I want to kind of show off those strengths. But you said it best. Like this is going to take some time to just get better with the feel of the anticipation of routes and zone coverage. I think he's got to get better at the catch point. Like I just didn't see many times where he's challenging the ball, and I think with this archetype, like that's what you need to do. I'm not really going to, and he's not like huge, so that like compared to like Kilgore, who out of the same place, like and Kilgore's very similar in terms of like incredibly gifted athlete, great in space, but like those short area stuff. Cisse has like the size to where I want you to be better at that. Like I want you to be better at guarding like mirrored body types. Where Kilgore, I think, is just like he is an upright player, and I don't put that too much against him if that makes sense because of his size. But No, I have Cisse also at 6. Very
Yeah.
similar to you, where it's just the athlete is too much to go against, pretty much
Yeah.
at this point. My number 5, I have D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana.
Hmm.
So he is an outside corner for me, and I think that's probably a lot. I don't know. I don't know where
He's a
the
nickel for
defense is
me,
going to
but
fall. Yeah,
yeah.
and I get why. He's 5'9", dude. Like I understand, and I think he's sub 30-inch arms. Like I think he has even
Yes.
smaller arms than like someone like McDuffie, who's made it work, but is a better nickel. But my little quick synopsis, like undersized, uber productive, with a very feisty attitude to shake it up. But the biggest thing for me is like his ball skills downfield. Like you can tell that this player went against Jeremiah Smith as a high schooler, and then when he got to Indiana, go watch him against Boston in 2024. Like and tell like you don't think he's 5'9", dude.
No,
So
no.
it's very interesting with me with this player because I think there's so much telling me that it's like, well, you got to move him inside. He can play downhill, he can get into that, but it's like I don't want to lose these two things that he does so well, which is his ball skills, and like he never loses the race. He can get fooled, like Smitty got him in the Big Ten title game, but that's on a double
Yeah.
move. That's on a crafted play. But like on these vertical routes, it just never feels like he's out of place. He's out of the game, out of the race, as I like to call it at times. And even like with these limitations, I'm gonna try him at outside corner. Like
I don't blame
so
you.
like I think just the production and what'd you say? You said it before. Like he's barely played nickel anyway. So it's a
He
whole
has
new
yeah,
position.
he literally has 0 nickel snaps.
And yeah, and I think I mean no one's going against Signetti right now, and so
Yeah.
the NFL's going to say, "Hey, he was using him wrong." Like there's just no way to me. And
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, biggest concern to me if he's going to be an outside corner is the foot in the ground and like driving on the football. I think the instincts are good, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
just that kind of quick little hesitation twitch. Like you could see it on some comebacks where you can get to that spot and then and then the other receiver can box him out a little bit. So I think that's the biggest thing is just being able to drive on the routes, fight through the ball, if he's going to do it. But what were your thoughts on D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana?
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my two nickels. I'm and it all of that just comes back to the fact that he's 5'9", right?
Yeah.
It's not impossible for him to be an outside corner. We've seen Mike Sanders still be able to do it at a certain level of success.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like impossible. Uh, but you're gambling on the outlier. And when you're drafting a player, it's really hard to gamble on the outlier. That's why I put him in the slot. But again, I mean, he has all of those amazing praises that you said. Like mentally, he's there. He is great at reading routes. He can pass them off really, really well. Um, he is a great athlete and he has the dog in him, and like that combination of like his tenacity and athleticism allows him to actually be like a nuisance at the catch point, as you said. Like he doesn't get bullied as much as what you would think that 5'9" corner would. And he wants to get involved in the run game. He has the desire to like get down and actually tackle someone. And that's why I think he would be like a good nickel. Like get this guy involved. He's not scared to do it. But as you said, I mean, again, he's small. He has no slot or nickel experience at all. And then he's a gambler. He knows how to read routes, and sometimes your more experienced quarterbacks can kind of get him with an eye fake or a hezzy, and he'll gamble maybe more than what he should to jump a route, and he can get himself into a little bit of trouble there. But he's just such a fun watch, right? Just because of the tenacity that he plays with. He's 5'9", but no one told him about that growing up. So
Yeah, and I think sometimes like being this granular on this player, like what is it? He went to a monster high school. I'm pretty sure he went to
Yeah.
IMG. He
Yes.
goes to, he goes to James Madison, dominates, and then he follows Signetti up to IU and just dominate. Like I just don't want to bet against the player that continues to
Yeah.
just be good everywhere he
Yeah.
goes. And to the Sanderstill point, that again, I get the comp. They're both small. Sanderstill at the combine had almost 31-inch arms,
Yeah.
and D'Angelo Pons is sub 29 and a half arms. So like that is a massive difference. Massive jump
Yes.
in that point. So again, I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying he should play outside. I there's probably 15% of teams that would throw him outside. So I'm willing to just like already lose the war by the time we get to um we get to like OTAs and it's like, oh, lining up in the nickel. But I just I wouldn't bet against this player. Where do you see
Yeah.
him like drafted? Is this like just yeah, because like I feel like
Back
everybody
end of the
loves him.
second.
I feel like everybody loves him. Everybody has him in like their top 45. He's gonna finish in my top 40,
Yeah.
but I don't know how the NFL's gonna see him. I'm very interested in
It's
him.
gonna be it's gonna be interesting. I think back end of the second. I mean, because again, regardless of what you think about the size limitations, it's just hard to bet against a guy
Yeah,
that's just as just nasty and as smart and as quick and athletic as he is. So at a certain point, like you can say, yeah, he's an outlier, but how far are we going to let this outlier fall? So
yeah. Who is your other nickel? And that we can get into the
yeah,
top
my
four.
other nickel was your guy,
Yep,
which I'd have to imagine he's very high. At one point,
number
you
one
teased
nickel.
him. Yeah, at one point, I have my issues with him, and it's the reason that I would take Pons over him. But we'll get into it. It's Keionte Scott. He's a lot of fun to watch. They lined him up everywhere too. Like they knew what they were doing with him. They lined him up everywhere. This guy's like not scared at all to like put his body on the line. Like he's willing to sacrifice his body for the good of the team. But he has a very very fast trigger that allows him to jump routes, but then also like identify run concepts. I think he's best moving forward, and we'll get into that a little bit. But I think he has quick enough feet to mirror routes. Again, he's played everywhere, and they utilize him as a really really good blitzer. Um, and he like is aggressive and wants to put his body on the line, but he has like a really ugly missed tackle percentage of 20%, which you don't like. He's definitely not a form tackler. And he's 5'11, which is 2 inches taller than D'Angelo Pons, but it was really difficult going from D'Angelo Pons to watching Keionte Scott because he very like clearly got bullied by larger receivers
Mm-hmm.
in a way that Pons did not. And that's part of the reason that he's below Pons for me. And then he's just overly aggressive, kind of in that same way that Pons is. He'll jump, he'll gamble, and then again he sometimes is looking to lay the boom instead of tackling, which is part of the reason why we're up there at 20%. Um, but he was a lot of fun to watch. But it's really a size concern thing for me. That again, your bigger corner or your bigger wide receivers really, 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 really bullied this guy. But I know you're gonna have a lot more glowing things to say about him than I do.
Yeah, and he's going to be 25, much like these Miami players this season. He's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah,
25 before his first preseason game. Um, no, but like what you said, he is just a mean football player. In every way, the way he thrives on instincts, his natural instincts and quick trigger, and like he's so twitchy when he like gets it and clicks it and goes, man.
hmm
He's incredible. He's always around the football. He's had a weird career arc where he starts at Snow College, which is JUCO. goes to Auburn, has 2 really good years at Auburn in the nickel, and then they just kicked him outside in 2024, and he falls out of the rotation. I was like, what happened here? What
Yeah.
what went on here? And he falls out of the rotation because they're playing him on the outside. He transfers to Miami, and just instantly, it's like, oh, this is one of like the guys on defense. Like this is just one of the field tilting players that I think you can see. And then like when they did not have him to close the season, it noticed.
Yes.
But they were in that range of like killing teams anyway, like the Pitt game. But just when it came down to the playoff run, he is very instrumental in that. He's There's just too much good with the way he plays the nickel position to me that I just don't think I can be too much higher on him. Like even though he's 25 and I ragged on Akeem Mesidor for being an older player, like
Yeah.
this is a top 25 player for me. If you just like take it all out, and it's I don't think he's gonna go that high. There's no way he goes that high. But just
Yeah.
the way he's just as simple as it is, he's always around the football. Like there is just no play that he takes off that it feels like he is not around the football. He had some plays against Marcel Reed in that playoff game where he's closing him down, and like the 4.33 speed shows off. It's not 4.2 like it was reported, which almost like made me faint. But no, he's a
Yeah.
fantastic player. The Beast came out this week, and Dane Brugler has him as a safety. So that's in the safeties that are around him, it is true overhang safety, and I could see it again, just
Yeah.
because of that overhang ability and the trigger downhill. But yeah, it's hard for me to be any higher on this player, even with
Meh.
the deficiencies as a cover player. The short area stuff against those slotty receivers, you know what I'm talking about. I think will challenge him in man coverage, but I think his attitude to just go at it. And again, I do this with players I like more than I do the players I don't like, but he just feels like one of the like culture setters. Miami. I keep
Yeah.
Miami at 30. Like I know it's insane to think about that, but like dropping in my first player on defense, if I take an offensive player at 11, if I'm, John Eric Sullivan, it's like I kind of want to set the tone for my defense. I think Keionte Scott's the player to take at 30,
Oh.
even if it
Oh my
is
goodness.
ridiculous. But I think he's that good. He's not going to go that high, but
No.
I can't get over it, and I would love to see him with Miami and Jeff Athley's defense. But
Would be fun.
especially with the way he deployed Evan Williams late and his like run fit ability, I think Scott could be great in that scheme. But
Yeah.
that's enough love on Keionte Scott. Let's get to our top 4 outside corners.
Well, I
Or
have
top
top
5.
five outside
Top 5.
corners.
I have one of them. Who do you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do my number 5. My number 5 was Colton Hood. He was fun. He's a press man merchant. Like that. That's a first thing I have written down for him is he's a press man merchant.
I called him a bully.
Yeah, that's a great way to put at it, or that's a great way to put it. He is physical when he's at the line of scrimmage. Like he does not want to let anyone release off the line of scrimmage. It is a lot of fun. And he has good feet that allows him to stay through the break of the routes. You'll find myself saying that about a lot of these guys as we go on. It's going to be the theme of the show for me here. He has really good hands, or he has a really good ability to get his hands up, get it on the ball, get deflections. And for like a guy that's a press man guy, like I appreciated his recovery speed. There were times where he got, but like he had enough speed or flashed enough speed to actually recover through the rep of or through the rest of the route. And then he's just competitively tough. Like he's just gonna go at you, and that goes back to like the bully part of it, right? But he can be overly physical at times, and it can be a lot of fun to watch. But you can draw a lot of flags, you can do a lot of grabby. Not the biggest fan of it. His zone stuff is not quite up to snuff for me, especially on like your longer developing routes. He seems to be flipping his hips like way too early, and I wonder why that is happening. Because again, I think he has fine enough recovery speed to do it. So I don't know why he's flipping out of his back pedal as early as he is, which really makes him susceptible to underneath stuff. And then he just has inconsistent run support for a guy that's as physical as he is. I kind of want him, get his nose on the football a little bit more in the run game. But again, he's a lot of fun to watch as a press man guy that just kind of wants to get up in your face.
Yeah, I mean he's a better athlete than I thought he would be, due to like
Yeah.
the tape going back and getting new eyes on after the combine. But no, I think he is a great knack to run through to run through the football when
Yeah.
it is demanded at the catch point. I liked his run support a little bit better than you
Mm,
did. I think he flashed that physicality to get through there, but again, like the tackling was an issue, so I'm with that. But again, the biggest thing with these kind of upright players is going to be that short area suddenness against those, craftsman kind of players. So I think that's the biggest thing to hold back on. But I think he's the athlete. I think he's got the length to play on the outside, and there's just a lot of good that goes into Colton Hood. He was my third. Number 4 was Chris Johnson
mm,
out of San Diego State. Uh, very like just he's just good. A lot of things, and when you're good at a lot of things, it just shows up at corner. Good
yeah.
athlete with the frame and length to survive on the outside. I think he uses his instincts well. He reads routes through receivers. I think he has great
Great
balance.
processor.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he has great balance. Like where we talked about a guy like Igmanosin, where it's like I want to be the guy to dictate the where are you going by getting your hands on it. He doesn't need to, and like I think he shows that off enough when he's in phase. He keeps his hands away, and I think
Yeah.
that shows off the balance and even like core strength to keep your body upright like that. But he drives through the receivers, makes plays. The catch point stuff, the timing specifically will need to get better, but there's a lot of good in Chris Johnson. I do see the first round buzz that he's been getting just because he is what an outside corner looks like, especially in the back half of the first.
Yeah, I may have put a little cachet on him being a first round pick. It's for like one specific reason too. Like when I watch him, like I can't get out of my head. Every single time I turn on the tape for him, I'm like, you're a Spags corner. Like he's gonna love you. And if you don't, if they don't take a corner there early, like I wouldn't be shocked if they take him at
Mm-hmm.
the back of the first. Again, I second everything that you said. I had him in front of Colton Hood, just because I think he's just such a smooth and silky mover. But for him, like he needs to the big thing for him was I just want to see him be more physical in press.
Mm-hmm.
He just seemed kind of reluctant over the course of reps and routes. And he has the length and the size to do it. He just didn't do it enough, and that raises like some concerns for me when you factor in some of the competition level there. But again, he has all of the things that you said. He was a lot of fun. And again, he has a Spags corner written all over him. So,
Um,
um,
Where do you
My
want to go?
CB3 is a nickel for you.
Yes.
So it's it's tough. It's back and forth. I guess how do you want to go about that?
Just go with him. Go with him, and I'll talk.
Okay, he's awesome. I thought he was. I thought he probably had the best. I don't. Not even thought he does. And maybe we'll disagree. In my mind, I thought he had the best zone IQ of any quarter in this class.
Hmm.
Um, aside from maybe the top guy, but that's all right. I thought he had good closing speed, emphasis on closing speed. We'll get into the other speed there, but good speed to break on routes. I thought he flipped his hips really nice, going from a back pedal, transitioning into actually running and mirroring the rest of the route. He really wanted to be active in the run game, and he has perfected the peanut punch. Like this guy, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's a little bit more than luck at this point with how much you're
Yeah.
able to cause fumbles here. It was a lot of fun, and again, his own instincts are off the charts. It was fantastic, but he has a very, I don't say very small frame, but he has a smaller frame, which creates issues against your bigger body wide receivers at the catch point. Obviously, speed, like genuine long speed for him, is a really real concern. And I think probably those two big things are the reason why he's not in your outside corner list. Um, and then he can get flat-footed when wide receivers are crossing his face. Those are three big things for him. But if you're running a zone heavy um, scheme, he's going to be a guy for you. And I would have no worries about his ability to be an outside starting corner in a zone defense because he has. Again, I think the best instincts in the class at this point, but I can see why you would have him as a nickel.
Yeah, he's a nickel just because I think leaning into the strengths. It's just he's a fluid technician with his short area closing ability, the suddenness, the location of finding the football, both as a tackler, like you mentioned, forcing fumbles, and even like as a pass defender. I think he had over 20 pass deflections in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you show that off, um, and he plays with a physicality in the run
Yeah,
game, and they featured him as a occasional pass rusher here and there as this blitzer. So I think all of those read into me that it's like I would, if I want to maximize your skill set, I want to put you at the nickel. Like he ends up being number two as a nickel. If I had to put him on the outside, he'd be fifth outside. Like so, he's
mm,
probably like DB6, and that feels entirely too low. I just don't feel
yeah,
right, but because like even the athletic testing at the combine, like what he ran a 4.6, something like that, and I think a lot of people got very scared off. Um, it doesn't feel like that on the tape. Like you go
no,
back and you watch the tape after that, and it's like, well, it's not your game, and I just isn't that much of an issue to me.
no,
I
yeah,
was trying to find that the damn GPS testing that they do for all these guys now. I couldn't find it with him because he just feels like
mm,
he feels smooth and will run through it. And I think a team's gonna like him because of
sure,
that. The length is fine. I think the length is. Let me see here. I want to say it's over 31, but I could be wrong. Like I think he is longer than like Hood and even Johnson are. So if if
sure.
I think he has the athletic ability to do it, I think you could put him on the outside. Um, yeah, 31 exact inch arms. So again, all these guys are kind of the same build, like 5'11 to 6'1, 180, feel kind of lean, can gain that mass, adequate to enough length is the way I'll put it. I think you would love some of these guys to have longer arms, but yeah, Avieon Terrell is someone that I have lower in quotations because all the other guys I think I just put them higher. I feel like if I had to guess, he's a top 35 player for me. So
Okay.
still have him in that range, but we'll see. All right. So we're into the top two, correct?
Correct.
Do we have
I
them
hope
tiered
we
together?
no.
Okay.
It's so tough because they're it's tough because they're both very good prospects.
Mm-hmm.
The number one guy for me is a top 8 player in the class. Uh, I was in love with the number one guy in this class, like a lot, and it's tough to see like they're not tiered together
Mm-hmm.
because number two is a very very good player in his own right. I just think he's by far and away the better corner, but I digress.
Who was that?
My number one corner was Jermod McCoy.
Yeah.
So was he your number one?
He was my number one by far. By far.
Okay, good. Okay, good, good. I was gonna say I'm glad that we agreed on that because I know some people don't agree. He is. Let me check.
I'll say it like this.
The seventh best player in the
I'd
class
be
for me.
actively furious if the Saints took Mansoor Delane over him at 8.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
could not agree more. Like I let's do this. All right. The big thing with Mansoor Delane is like he is an excellent man cover corner. And
Yeah.
he's gonna excel in a man coverage scheme. And like we saw that he was a good corner at Virginia Tech. He was a great corner at LSU because it was a man heavy scheme. And that's what we saw. He has again that elite man coverage ability due to his quick hips, his route recognition, and just overall understanding of body position. He has great ball production. He has 8 interceptions. He has a quick trigger in the run game and has very, very good IQ to just outright understand again the routes that he needs to cover. I don't, I don't care what he ran at his pro day. His one of his weaknesses for me
The recovery
is
speed.
going to be
Yeah.
long speed. I had seen it too much. I do not care. I have
Yeah.
seen you get burnt. You can tell me that you ran a 4.32 or whatever it was. That 4.32 did not translate. Just outright period. Um and he was just very overly aggressive. Um Again, he's fun. He's a really 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 good man corner. Jermod McCoy is a do it all, scheme versatile corner and is basically excellent at everything he does. And he has like one like real major weakness for me, and it's not a big deal. Anyways, Delane for you.
Yeah, I see the athlete. I think he's a great fluid athlete. I think the way he gets um
Yeah.
like his hips around, I think he is a smooth player in that core. I think the feet are always moving in the right direction. I He makes plays in reactionary zone coverage. So I think in those off zone situations, I think he shows off that reaction timing. You mentioned it. He locates the ball well in man. Um, but overall, I think it comes down to like Delane. Again, I'm saying this for a lot of these guys, but like there's a lot of good. But when you think about, yeah, this is kind of granular, but it's like when you think of those dudes that are getting picked in the top 10, like think back to like when we're doing the Stingley thing, when we're doing the Sauce thing, when we're drafting Sertan in the top 10, it's like Delane just doesn't look like one of those guys to be one of those imposing
Mm-hmm.
CB1 go at the best player. Like someone compared him to AJ Terrell. I think I really like that
Yeah.
comparison in terms of like I think you can rise his level when Delane is like your third best defensive player, you can feel him and it makes sense. But there are going to be matchups where he is schemed out of. There are going to be matchups where I think he just has problems figuring it out, and you've seen that with Terrell. And Terrell is what he's a wave. He's a bumpy wave, and I think Delane could do that, and that's where it's like when he's in the top 10 prospects for a lot of people. I'm even someone like I shouted him out before the season. I loved his Virginia Tech stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can love him
Yes.
in the back end of the first, but when you start telling me like this, the player with I don't want to say fine, that feels rude, but he's a good athlete, but he's not that upper echelon. And when you're thinking about corners that get drafted like that, they are the upper echelon best of the best, and he doesn't really have the length to recover either. Like he has sub 31-inch arms, so again, with Delane, he is more tiered out next to Hood and Johnson for me. I have McCoy.
Mm,
You mentioned I think we see him very similar. I have him as a
yeah.
top 8 player as well. I think you said that. So I'm
Yes.
with you on that. But Delane, I think there's a lot of good, and he played at a high tier competition for what you can play at, but ah, miss me with the top 10
Exactly.
stuff.
And it's tough because like when you stack him up against McCoy, like it's a lot of like these negative things, like it's not
Yeah.
there. But like he is like Delane is a good player. I really really think he's going to be a good player in the league. Again, it is some like textbook, almost borderline elite man coverage ability stuff, which is really really awesome. But again, you compare it to both our number one guys, that's when it gets a little rocky. That's when we're like poo poo Delane, even though like Delane is a very I think a very good prospect.
Hmm.
So I don't want like anyone watching this just like thinking that like we hate Delane or anything. It's just we
No.
both love McCoy is I think far more than what even consensus does, which is I'm glad that we both got there, I'll
Yeah.
say. So, but I'll let you do McCoy.
Yeah, I mean McCoy, it's he's one of the ones, man. Like just the way he is so
Yes.
gifted in as an athlete, the way he moves, the way he's just so patient, always gets his head around. He has 16 PBUs and 6 interceptions in his career, both at Oregon State and then Tennessee. He has that feel of like even like Delane makes like the All ACC freshman team. It
Mm,
he didn't feel as loud as even McCoy did at Oregon State, and then he goes to
yeah.
Tennessee, and it's like I feel like this player every time he takes that step, it's just easy to him, and sometimes it just you want it to feel that way with corner specifically. I think his feet are always like the biggest issue are like he sometimes doesn't trust and drive with his eyes. Sometimes he'll get
Yeah.
stuck in the little quicksand where need you to, kind of figure that out. But like,
Yeah.
didn't Stingley have that problem as well? I feel like
Yes.
Stingley had some hesitation on driving and making those plays at the catch point, and he's become one of those players. So again, I think with this position, just finding the very gifted players, finding the very gifted athletes. And oh, by the way, he missed the entire 2025 season with an ACL tear and has not played football in 500 days. So if you're telling me it's like I'm scared away by that, I get it. I understand. Like I'm
Sure.
not gonna sit here and there were so many times where it was like Tennessee looks to get him back. He tore it in January, right? Like
January. Yep.
right after the playoff game training, and it was like mid October. It's like, yeah, he'll be ready down the stretch, and he was just never really there. And I think, again, point out what it is, but Tennessee was kind of eliminated beginning of November. So again, does he not have the dog to fight for his team? Who knows? But I think McCoy just when you stack it up to like even like the highlight scouting where it's just like he just looks like one of those guys, and
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
it comes down to.
No, absolutely. And you obviously can't do this because it was a torn ACL. Um, so you can't. But like if you just looked at it like from a Jamar Chase level, and you're like, yep, he just took the year off from football.
Yeah.
You like that's we wouldn't have questions about it. And again, you can't because obviously it wasn't like he took a year off because of COVID. He took like a year off for like genuine medical reasons. So again, it's difficult to look at it. But as you said, I mean, he's just one of those ones. Um, I truly think he's a scheme versatile player,
Yeah.
because he is an athlete and has the smooth hips that allows him to be very very good, and excel in man. And he doesn't bite on your double moves, um, but he's going to be a great zone cornerback as well if you need him to, because he has amazing zone awareness and he has amazing closing speed, to break on routes. Oh, and by the way, like he's also a legit punt returner. Not that you necessarily want that, like your top 20,
It's only a plus.
cornerback pick to be a punt returner, but like if you wanted to, he could.
Patrick Peterson.
But like, yeah. Um, the two things, as you said, was it's a little bit of the quicksand stuff, and then like his tackling like it could get better,
Yeah,
but like I'm being nitpicky at
I
this
ain't paying you
point.
to tackle. I have another one
Yeah,
that I want to bring
exactly.
up. I
Sure.
I think when he gets that like I'm calling it the mesh point, but like when he gets to that like 7 to 10 yards downfield where he feels like the guy's gonna get him, like trust your body a little bit more. He looks to like get his
Sure.
hands and will get grabby,
He's a little
and
grabby.
so
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is like just trust your athleticism. Like
Yeah.
and sometimes it's that simple of a conversation with a guy like that where it's like just trust your body, dude. Like you know,
Which it is interesting to me because again, it's when we looked at Colton Hood, I said the
mhm,
exact same thing, and that's what I
yeah.
said. Like, trust your athletic ability. You're grabbing more than what you should. Um, I wonder again how much of it, and I'm not saying for like a matter of fact, but like I wonder how much of it is just like a DB coach saying like if you think you're getting beat, just hold him. Don't allow the big play to happen.
Yeah,
Just grab him. But like, so I wonder how
15
much
yards.
of
It's 15 yards max.
yeah, exactly. At the NFL, it's been different, but I agree. So I wonder how much of that is like a Tennessee teaching thing, but I do agree. It's he does get a bit grabby.
Yeah.
So
So those are our corners. Um, I'll throw out some nickels for you. I'll leave one off because he might be a safety for you. But I had Chandler Rivers from Duke in here. You know,
sure.
4 year inside outside starter for Duke. I think he has great coverage ability. He's a missile in the run game. Uh, Leads to some technique issues in the run game, but I love the attitude to him. Again, the length is going to push him inside, like just exclusively to me. He's a very lean player, but good football player, a lot of experience. I think I trust that. When you're taking nickels at the top of the fourth round, something like that. That's kind of where I project him. Number 5, Jaden Kennedy. He's an interesting watch from Oregon. Got onto him late, but he's small in frame and and just not an overly powerful player. So when you're thinking of the
Hmm.
nickels, but very quick reactor, gives him the upside that is desired from you know a decision making perspective. Just I think the way he breaks on the football in the middle of the field shows up. His last year at Oregon, I think he had double digit PBUs. He's always playing to fight through the football. And then lastly, I had Keith Abney out of Arizona State.
Yeah.
Again, undersized, but just a very alert and physical downhill player in the run game. He has the good instincts, short area suddenness as a cover player, but the vertical speed just can't do it. The length, let me see the length. I think the length is like it's right at the cutoff line for me. Like when you get in, I think he's similar to Pons. I want to say. Let me see here. He is He's at 30, so he's even longer than Pons, who I'm projecting outside. So if you
Gotcha.
have no, you know, it's similar to Terrell, I'll say. If you don't have the hesitation on the long speed, Abney can play outside. Like, Abney could be,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, as like Josh Jobe kind of is used. I know that's not a fun comparison, but like as like these cloud defenders where it's like
Yeah.
you are enough and good and alert in the run game that we can put you outside. But I did put him in, ended up like kind of winning the tiebreaker battle to put him as a nickel. But those are some guys in there, and then I have one more from Arizona that maybe is a safety for you. Who knows? But um, that's
Oh,
all for
okay.
corners.
Okay.
That is
Gotcha.
all
Gotcha.
for corners. Did we have any late corner things you wanna? Any players?
No, no. I mean, I shout out the two guys that get me going, obviously, and Tacario Davis and Ephesians. A fun corner class, I think. Um, Again, I'm gonna be interested to see how the back end of this of the first round goes in terms of like who gets taken when. Because
Yeah,
again, as I said at the top of the show, like I could see Chris Johnson being the first one taken out of that group. I could see Hood being the first one taken. I could see Cisse being the first one taken. Um, in some really weird and wild world, I could see Pons being the first. Like it's just I'm interested to see the order in which these guys go because they're all kind of tiered off in like their own little category there, but they all do different things. So I'm just interested to see how NFL teams value these varying skill sets of like that second group of corners in this draft class.
yeah. So I got to do it because it's a bit. There's always an FCS third day three corner that Matt's gonna talk
Oh,
about.
oh,
Highlight scout some Charles Demings from Stephen F. Austin. All right,
Stephen F. Austin, yeah,
this guy, like again, it's he's always in phase. He always dominates the rep. He just looked man among boys at that level. Um, what is it? I think he started every game from like his redshirt freshman year. He's a fifth year player, but he was
sure.
someone that like I these guys every time I see him test, I think it's a stopwatch position for me. So every time I see some of these guys that meet the requirements, that meet those thresholds as an athlete, I want to go back and look. I only highlight scouted really, so but shout out to Charles Demings. I wanted to throw him in here, but didn't have enough to kind of throw him on the podcast and really sing his praises too much. But that is all for the
There's another
corners.
one that's been getting buzz from
Who is it?
uh, Julian Neal. I don't know much about him at all. The only thing I know about
Arkansas,
him
right?
is yeah, Central Arkansas kid. I know that more than a couple teams. I think like 6, 7, 8 teams have like brought this guy in for an
Yeah,
interview. Again, I don't know anything about him. I just know that he is, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure he's a big guy. I think he's a tall guy. Let me check. Let me check here. I should have checked. Yeah, he's 6'2", with almost 33-inch arms.
yeah,
Um, so it just someone to put on your radar. Like if you're like, you should be like, yeah. I remember the guys over at the Pigskin Project saying that there's this guy. They didn't tell me much about him other than the fact he's tall and long. But there you go. It's another guy that you might not have heard
gamble
of.
on the tall and long.
Hey. So
Yeah, I mean, trust us when we talk about Zion McCollum and Tariq Woolen before they're famous. This is our position, man. But
yeah.
not to toot our own horn, but that's
Hey.
all for the corners. We will sit down and hit the safeties and linebackers next, but we'll be right back.